I think it's a pretty big turn in all sorts of respects. Starting with tone from the head coach. Remember Vrabel's tone?
Yeah, sure.
When he was asked about Diggs in the mini camps? He had several opportunities in the mini camps to say he's working hard, he's doing everything that we're asking him to do, and he was really sort of just the opposite. He was asked about Steph Diggs and how much he's working and his engagement, and Vrabel would answer by saying, we expect and want all the players here all the time. So it was kind of clear that they weren't all that happy with Steph Diggs during the mini camp, and I'm not even getting to the pink bag of drugs and all of that. I'm just talking about he wasn't there like they wanted him to be there. Never mind he's effing off and doing Lord knows what, in his free time. So it felt like it was off to a rocky start. Well, fast forward here to training camp. The tone of the coach, I think, is much different, and it belies the fact that Diggs is on board. No pun intended. Greg Bedard writes, again, the fact that he wasn't on PUP. So PUP, physical and able to perform, is left for anyone who has an off-season injury, and it has some other things as well. But if you have an off-season surgery, you start on that PUP, and you can come off it at any time, and you have 3 weeks to practice it before you can play. There's all sorts of rules, but it's really just a placeholder for those guys. So it's not the full injured reserve, which sometimes knocks you out for the season. But everyone thought he'd start on PUP. He did not. And Bedard writes that he wasn't sure if that was some sort of procedural thing, like the Patriots were waiting to decide on his status until he arrived and took his physical. But, says Greg, that's not the case. Diggs has been cleared, has passed his physical, and will not be put on the PUP. I would not expect him to have a heavy practice workload for a while, as he'll be on a ramp-up plan, with week 1 being the hope. The physical, he says, is no small thing when it comes to his contract. Remember all the chatter about possibly cutting Diggs and not owing him anything? That's over now. He's getting his $12 million signing bonus now, albeit in 3 installments, because it's really what, Maz?
It's a Patriot guarantee.
Thank you. You can get a $12 million check to sign, but you really got to wait about 9 months in 3 different installments to get the full. They hand it to you in thirds.
Right. And the way you should define that for the benefit of the listener is that a Patriot guarantee is never, ever, ever a full guarantee.
So I usually don't count the money till it's in the bank.
Correct.
So Steph's going to have to wait a little bit to get that full $12 million, but
you get it in fractions.
Be that as it may, this is he had to pass the physical to get that bonus. He's passed the physical. He's getting the bonus. To me, this is the most important thing.
That's still a landmark.
Yeah, to me, it is.
It's a landmark.
I tell you this, follow the money.
Or a milestone. Yeah.
It starts with the contract. It starts with the guarantees. That's all the player cares about. So why would the team feel any differently? And you hold back the guarantees until you're sure about them. And so it means forget just the physical, because remember, the physical was completely dependent on Patriots doctors. So if the Pats were still unsure about Steph Diggs, they could find a way to fail him. They'd be inviting some sort of beef, but if they really were reticent or reluctant and not believing in Steph Diggs, they'd screw around with him. They wouldn't let him on the field now. So, whatever Diggs has done, he's satisfied them, and you can tell it most notably by the money, but also by the tone of the coach. And here it is. Greg writes, as far as his health, it's a minor miracle that he's ready to go just 9 months after tearing his ACL. Like I said during minicamp, writes Greg, he looked terrific. Way better than Kendrick Bourne did a year ago with a similar situation. He said that's great news for the Patriots and Drake Maye. And I will take it on face value and agree. I didn't think Diggs would be ready week 1. I thought it was just sort of a thing that he said to get signed. Mm-hmm. And he said that as a free agent. I'll be ready to go, of course. He's trying to get signed. He's trying to get a contract. Well, now he's got his contract. He's passed his physical. And, if he's not starting on PUP, he better be ready week 1 now. It's I think that's what to expect.
To your point, when Vrabel last spoke, again, it was he was upset, unhappy with Diggs' level of commitment. At the end of minicamp, he then made that comment, which was brought up a couple of times today. The next 5 weeks are really important for every player. Right? Saying that from the time between the end of minicamp and the start of training camp, where players can go out and screw off and mess things up and not commit. Well, it sounded today like Vrabel was very happy with Diggs' 5 weeks. That whatever Diggs did in those 5 weeks, it was enough to pass the physical, be on the field for the start of camp, and get his money. So that's a win if you are the Patriots.
So on the other hand is Carlton Davis, this other corner, the second corner, the off corner to Christian Gonzalez that you signed in the offseason. As Greg writes, on the other side of the coin is Davis. The last time we saw him during minicamp, he was on the field and participating, so that means he was healthy. Now a month later, he isn't. He's on the NFI, non-football injury list, okay, which really just means that he was injured away from the facility. So it could be non-football injury. It could be he was, say, just picking a random thing, jet skiing, and he twisted an ankle jet skiing.
Well, there was video of him jet skiing at some point.
Oh, was there?
Yeah.
Like I said, I was just randomly picking an example.
Interesting how you pulled that out of your ass.
Obviously, yeah. So, like, he could have been dicking around, or it could be a football injury that he suffered if you're training on your own and you, whatever.
Pull a hammy.
Tweak a hamstring sprinting on your own. I think that's NFI. So he could be doing that as well. As Greg writes, players land on that list if some sort of ailment, could be an injury or an illness, happens outside the team facility. Most are injuries sustained during personal workouts. He says, I don't know specifically what Davis's situation is, but I'm told that he will be fine. Players can come off those lists at any time. Still, it's not great. I'm not worried about Davis not being on the practice field. He's a veteran and a corner. He can get his work in, but Davis's durability is one of my biggest worries this season, and this is not a great start. So that cuts both ways. Did Vrabel say something about Davis coming back soon? I listened to most of Vrabel today. He may have addressed it. I'll try and find it for you. But those were the two things. The Diggs thing is good news. So any follows on that?
It's kind of crazy news in that I just always looked at this as like a pipe dream for Pats fans. Like, yeah, he'll be ready week one. Like, okay.
Right.
I mean, because guys with this injury, specifically at that position, you typically don't see until October at best. And even the most level-headed reporters covering the team said, like, everyone pump the brakes. Like, it could happen, maybe, but don't count on it. Point towards 4 weeks, October. That's when you'll probably see Diggs. But now that he's not on the PUP list, like you said, like you've now set the standard. You got to be there week one.
I also thought there was a chance the team was going to take it slower because they wanted to make sure he was going to be okay, fully recovered, what have you. But if they cleared him, then clearly they're satisfied too. I actually think it's a good thing for Drake Maye that they're installing a new offense. If Diggs is going to be out there, and I know also that Vrabel said he's not going to practice every day, which I'm not surprised about, or that Bedard wrote that. But you know what? Just the fact that he's available to sort of go through this process with May, to me, is not insignificant. They need every rep they can get, especially with, a new offense or a new offensive coordinator, however you want to term it. So to me, that's, it's just a huge step.
What's your level of optimism heading into the season, heading into camp? Just start with that.
I would say pretty high, but not as high as some of these nitwits out there who are like, predicting that they're going to win a playoff game or be, someone the team should fear in the playoffs. I'm not telling you that can't happen. I'm just telling you I'm not there yet. Let's start with them being able to line up and get stuff right and not turn the ball over. And I think that Vrabel will instill that. That's what I'm expecting to see. I think they should be able to beat bad teams, and they get a lot of them on their schedule. But, again, I just feel the credibility factor has been restored. You listen to Vrabel talk and the way he answers questions about what the plan is, and it's a whole different level. To even compare it to Mayo, frankly, is ridiculous because it's not even close.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident he's going to get him back to level. Like that, I feel strongly about.
It'll be more buttoned up. It won't be stupid. They'll be able to protect the quarterback, I would think.
And I think it's going to translate to wins.
Yeah.
Like I think they're going to be a middle-of-the-pack team. And I feel pretty good about that. That Vrabel's going to get him right back to the middle of the pack, if not a little better. And that's really my expectation, and I really feel he's capable of that. I think I think he can do what he did in Tennessee, which is make him fundamental, tough, that sort of nuts and bolts kind of thing. I think he's got the nuts and bolts. When I listen to him talk just about blocking and tackling, like I just feel it's solid. Now, unfortunately, the NFL game has become not really about that anymore. But I think that doing that gets you to the middle of the pack, even with a bad roster. And I feel good about him doing that. I think he's that guy. Now him, like the lofty 11, 12, 13 win. I'm not. I'm just saying I think they're a playoff contending team, and I feel, really strongly about that. I feel strongly that they're going to be 7, 8, 9 wins in that range.
I mean, they're a real operation again, is what it feels like.
And any lower than 7 to me is a complete fail and something went really wrong, or my faith in Vrabel has been misaligned. Because I do think a head coach is good, no head coach is going to take a bad team to a championship. Like, that's just silly talk. But I think a good coach takes a bad team to the middle of the pack.
Raises the floor.
Yes. That's what I think a bad coach does. I mean, a good coach does for a bad team, rather. He takes you to the middle of the pack. After that, talent and all sorts of things. And then elite coaching takes good talent and makes it great. And now we're talking about a whole different level. But first things first, Vrabel should have this first step that they should be taking. And I feel good about that.